Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel, Bergfeldt's Bike Life. I want to start this episode with actually an apology. I screwed up. Big time. I have lost a lot of video material, so I have lost all the videos for day 2 to 6 of the tour we did with the group. That video is gone. So I have actually changed the approach of this video. So there will be one episode now covering day 2 to day 6 of the joint group together with the Swedish motorcycles. So what I've done, I have collected a bunch of photos and small video clips that I'm going to share with you. While I'm sharing this, I'm actually going to give you some really good advice if you're thinking of going on a motorcycle trip to Morocco on your own. So stay tuned, it's going to be 15 very important tips, and in the end I'm going to share with you a map of the route we took, the tracks we took over the 6 days. Okay, before we dive into the tips and tricks, let's talk a little bit about Morocco. You might be surprised to find it's quite similar to Europe in many ways, making it a fantastic introduction to motorcycle travel in Africa. The people here are generally honest and friendly, while French is helpful. At least I managed just fine with only English during my travels here.
There's a lot of rocks.
One tip I highly recommend is to venture off the beaten track. What I mean is try to find the less known routes away from the tourist hotspots. That will give you a much more authentic experience. With a bit of research, you'll find many beautiful roads waiting to be discovered.
Popular tourist area would look like the town you drive through. It's a lot of houses, small restaurants, shops, totally adjusted for the local tourism. And if you stay in these places, it's really easy and convenient.
Okay, while we're looking at this beautiful scenery, let's start with tip number 1. Stay hydrated. First and foremost, stay hydrated. The Moroccan climate can be warm, especially in the desert areas. Drink plenty of water throughout the day, even if you don't feel thirsty. So stay hydrated, and if you have a camelback, it's a good advice to use it. Tip number 2, plan your route. That is crucial. Research your destinations and map out the best roads to take. Include rest stop to stretch your legs and basically enjoy the scenery and take pictures. Look at the view here on this screen, for example. Document safety. Well, that's tip number 3. Always carry your passport, driving license, rental agreement, if you have a rental bike of course, and insurance documents. Having these at hand is essential, especially during police checks. The police checks are quite common. I saw maybe 1 or 2 a day while we were driving. On the other hand, all the bikers they just waved us through. We never got pulled over. But they are there. That brings us to tip number 4. Be aware of local traffic. Traffic in Morocco can be chaotic, especially in roundabouts. Expect that your right of way may not be respected, so stay alert. Tip number 5. Dress appropriately. Dress for the climate and terrain. Wear breathable clothing for hot days and protective gear at all times. Bring layers for colder evenings, especially in the mountains. think we had down to 8 degrees. One day we were driving and we had up to 28. So it can change dramatically the climate. Tip number 6, and this is especially when you are driving in the city. Watch for speed traps. Be cautious of speed traps, especially in cities and along major highways. Law enforcement can be quite present, so make sure to adhere to speed limits to avoid any surprises. General speed here is actually 60 and 80. So try to keep that. If you don't know what it is, try to stick to 80 outside the villages and 60 inside the villages. Tip number 7, wildlife awareness. Be mindful of wildlife, especially goats and sheep, particularly in rural areas. They can unexpectedly cross your path, especially at dawn at dusk. So watch out and be vigilant. Tip number 8, emergency contacts. Keep a list of emergency contacts and know the location of a nearby medical facilities. It's better to be prepared than, yes, you know what I mean. Tip number 9, respect local customs and dress modestly. In rural areas, it's important to blend in, so consider wearing long pants and sleeves. Tip number 10, keep your motorcycle in a good condition. Before setting off, check your motorcycle's condition, tires, brakes and fluids, and I really recommend carrying a basic toolkit for minor repairs. I have a big BMW. I'm not so used to oiling my chain, so I had to be reminded all the time. But keep that in mind as well. There is a lot of dust here that can really create quite a lot of damage if you're not careful. Tip number 11, be cautious with traffic conditions. Morocco's roads are generally in good condition, but be aware of unexpected obstacles like debris or livestock or just giant potholes. Tip number 12, ensure you have comprehensive insurance that covers motorcycle activities. I would advise actually to talk to your insurance provider of your travel plans before you leave. Some of them may not cover motorcycle use. Personally, I actually took an extra insurance before I left Sweden, just to be safe. Tip number 13, currency awareness. This is a very good tip. Always carry cash. Many gas stations, when you want to refill for fuel, they don't take credit cards. And small purchases, the small shops will not take credit cards. The local currency here in Morocco is dirham, so make sure to have some at hand. There are plenty of ATMs. Might be hard to find them on Google though, but they are there. And this is maybe one of my best tips. Embrace the journey. Take time to stop, enjoy the stunning views, and immerse yourself at the local culture. The beauty of Morocco is not just the destination, but in the experience along the way. So take your time, stop, take photos, and just enjoy.
Oh, this is a nice cutout in the mountain actually, and as far as I understand, it's actually the river here that made the cutout, and then they just applied the road next to it.
Thanks for tuning in. I hope these tips inspire you to hit the road and explore the wonders of Morocco. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe for more motorcycle adventures. Safe travels. And don't forget to stick around for the map of the routes we traveled during our 6 days adventure. All right, folks. I hope you enjoyed that virtual tour, the picture guide, and my tips for Morocco. But let's wrap up this adventure. I want to share a visual treat with you, an interactive map that showcased the routes we traveled during our 6-day motorcycle journey in Morocco. This trip is truly a blend of Europe, Africa, and the mystique of the Orient. We navigated through the stunning landscape of the High Atlas, experienced ancient traditions, and interacted with the welcoming Berber community. Throughout the journey, we rode about 30% on gravel roads and 70% on those winding asphalt beauties that makes motorcycling such a joy. So, for the next step, let's take a quick look at what our daily itinerary looked like, starting from day one. So, here we go. Let's go through the journey we did for these 6 days on this interactive map. It's a little bit hard to navigate, so bear with me if I zoom in or zoom out once too much or too little. So, but here you can see a picture of Morocco, and you can see the route we took for these 6 days. As I explained, we started out here a little bit out of Marrakesh, where we stayed at Kashba Atfel. After breakfast, we set off from this hotel, and the location of this hotel was actually perfect. We could skip the busy traffic around Marrakesh and just hit the fun roads almost immediately after getting some gas. And then we headed towards the breathtaking Cascades de Ouzud, which is a huge waterfall. And that led us to a beautiful morning biking through the olive groves and a few winding back roads. We stopped over here at Tissout Hotel. This is a charming French-owned hotel known for its fresh garden-grown cuisine. All the vegetables and a lot of the other things we ate were actually grown at the hotel's own property. And then, as we merged on, continued up here, and we stayed at Riyadh Cascade de Ouzud. And we took some walks about, filmed the waterfall a little bit, and it's really a place I can recommend for a visit. It's a bit touristy, but it's still very beautiful. On day 2, we took in the morning we spent some more time in the falls before we headed on, and our goal was Sawit Asal. This was a beautiful ride, and we stopped for lunch at something I could just call it a cathedral. It was actually also a very great place. I would say all the lunches and all the services around this trip has been really, really good. The second day featured stunning views, especially as we passed a huge man-made lake of Bin El Ouedin. I think it's Africa's second largest man-made lake. It's a power plant, basically. It's beautiful. We also entered Africa's first geopark. In the afternoon, though, we tackled the most challenging gravel road for about 20 kilometers. It was filled with large stones and rough patches. If you ask me, it was a blast. I really enjoyed it, but it was challenging. I was really tired after that day. And I would say the spectacular vistas and the winding paths kept us enchanted through the day. In the end, though, after you see these curvy roads, it's just amazing. We stayed here at the night at Dar Ansal, which was again a very beautiful hotel. It's funny because we were driving in the middle of nowhere, and then suddenly this huge hotel appeared. And it's a very popular tourist spot for bicyclists, motorcyclists, hikers, mountain climbers, because it's basically the only place you can stay for many kilometers. And here we are sitting on the rooftop, and you see a picture of my friend Ingolf. He looks very happy. All right, again, after a beautiful breakfast, we continued on the third day on this orange path. And this route led us through stunning Happy Valley, renowned for its very picturesque villages built from red soil. And And this time we had lunch at the small family-owned restaurant. There is no name for this place. There was basically no signs. It was a little bit hard to find it. But it was really friendly and a family atmosphere. In a small village, they had this small restaurant. Unfortunately though, one of my friends, he actually fell on the way up to the restaurant. He didn't get seriously hurt, but he could not continue riding. Thankfully, we had our support vehicles at hand. So we have on this journey one sweeper. It's a four-wheeler going a bit behind us, making sure everyone stays on track and no one gets left behind. They also carry coffee and fika, as we say in Sweden, and they help us with all sorts of things. They also take our luggage. Then there is another van that carries a spare bike and also has a mechanic. So it's actually two vehicles supporting us. I would say this whole trip is very well arranged, and my friend here who fell over, they could take his bike into the van, and then he could go with the sweeper car for the rest of the week. He was not able to drive anymore, unfortunately. Anyhow, we continued and we stayed here at Dar Blue. And Dar Blue is a bit funny hotel. It's an old kasbah that's been renovated and extended several times. But the main hallway looks like something from a Harry Potter movie. It has stairs going everywhere. If you remember that Harry Potter movie when they had moving stairs. That's the way I felt when I was walking here. I got a little bit lost going up and down for different stairs, and I think I could find from the restaurant 3 or maybe even 4 different stairs leading up to the main hall and the entrance, the reception area. Really an amazing place. I can definitely recommend a visit. After a hearty breakfast at Dar Blue, we headed off on day 4, and we navigated the famous switchbacks of Cascades Valley, enjoying exhilarating rides through breathtaking landscape. On day 4, we stopped for lunch at Hotel Tissa and Cafe, and that was quite high up, so we had a really amazing view as we were enjoying our lunch up there. And then we continued south, arriving here at Nkob, a charming town known for its ancient kasbahs. We spent a night in a converted kasbah over 200 years old. Really, again, a very beautiful setting. I am so happy with the way they arranged this whole trip. Okay, early in the morning we left Nkob to aiming for Ait Ben Hadou, and we were traveling through the stunning Jebel Sagro, nicknamed Monument Valley for its impressive rock formations. On this day we stopped for lunch at Ait Ben Murro, which was again a really nice place, but it had a really nice lunch, a traditional lunch, and we had coffee at the backside, enjoying this view over the valley and their pool. We ended the day here at Kasbah Eloise, and this is actually a UNESCO heritage site with rich history. Okay, then sadly it was time for the last day on this journey, the 6th day, when we were heading back to Kasbah Atfel, where we spent the first and the last night. This also was a really nice ride. It took us across the high atlas over Tishika Pass, reaching 2,205 meters. We enjoyed winding back roads, olive groves, and dry riverbeds on our way back to the hotel. Kind of summarizing this incredible journey we just experienced. Oh yeah, at this time we stopped for lunch at just a roadside place, but maybe, to be honest, the least exciting restaurant. It was just a place along the road, but they had good food. And that concludes the full journey. Thank you all for joining me on this incredible journey through Morocco. I hope you're feeling inspired to explore these amazing routes yourself. If you enjoy this video, as always, subscribe and hit that like button. And please stay tuned because I have more videos from Morocco coming up. As I explained earlier, this was the 6-day journey together with a group, a guided group. But for the next few episodes, I will be traveling on my own back up to the north of Morocco and taking the ferry back to Europe again. So don't miss that. And until next time, safe travels.